They laughed when security escorted me out of the building on Friday afternoon. My boss threw my personal items into a cardboard box while my coworkers watched through the glass conference room. Sarah from accounting smirked. Dave from marketing actually took a video on his phone. My ex-girlfriend Jennifer, who now worked in HR, handed me the termination papers with a cold smile. "Clear out your desk, Marcus. Your services are no longer required," she said loud enough for everyone to hear. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I simply took my box, walked past the security guard, and left the building I'd worked in for 3 years. What they didn't know, what nobody in that entire company knew, was that I had just received an email that morning. An email that would change everything by Monday. My name is Marcus Webb, and this is the story of how I went from fired employee to majority owner in 72 hours. Friday, 2:47 p.m. The email had arrived at 6:23 a.m. before I even got to the office. I was rushing to catch the train, coffee in one hand, phone in the other, when I saw it. The subject line read, "Urgent, estate settlement. Marcus Webb, confidential." I almost deleted it thinking it was spam, but something made me click it. "Dear Mr. Webb, this is Jonathan Hartley of Hartley & Associates legal firm. We have been trying to reach you regarding the estate of your late uncle, Theodore Webb. Please contact us immediately regarding inheritance matters. Time sensitive. This concerns significant assets including corporate holdings. My uncle Theodore? I barely knew the man. He was my father's older brother who I'd met maybe twice in my entire life. At family gatherings, he was always the mysterious one, well-dressed, quiet, successful in business, but never talked about it. The last I heard, he lived somewhere in Europe. I didn't even know he had passed away. I meant to call the lawyer. I really did. But I got to work and everything went sideways. Jennifer called me into the conference room at 2:30 p.m. We dated for 8 months before she dumped me for someone with better prospects, her exact words. Now she sat across from me with the head of HR and my direct supervisor, Craig Mitchell. Craig was everything I wasn't. Ivy League educated, connected family, always taking credit for other people's work. Specifically my work. "Marcus, we're letting you go," Jennifer said without emotion. "Budget cuts. Your position is being eliminated." "Eliminated?" I asked. "I just landed the Carmichael account. That's a $3 million contract." Craig leaned back in his chair. "Actually, Marcus, I landed that account. You did some preliminary work, but I closed the deal." My jaw dropped. "I worked on that pitch for 6 months. You came to one meeting." "That's not how management sees it," Jennifer interrupted, sliding papers across the table. "This is your severance package. 2 weeks' pay. Sign here." I looked at the document. After 3 years of 60-hour weeks, of bringing in clients, of building relationships, of making this company money, 2 weeks severance. "And if I don't sign?" Craig smiled. "Then you get nothing. And we'll make sure every company in this industry knows you're difficult to work with. Your choice." I should have told them right then. I should have pulled out my phone and shown them that email. But something stopped me. Some instinct told me to wait. I signed the papers. They had security escort me out like I was a criminal. I saw people I'd worked with for years just stare. Nobody said goodbye. Nobody stood up for me. Except Tom. Tom Chun from IT, the quiet guy who always ate lunch alone. As I walked past his desk, he caught my eye and mouthed, "Call me." Friday, 4:15 p.m. I sat in my studio apartment, the cardboard box on my kitchen table, and called the lawyer. "Mr. Webb, thank God. I've been trying to reach you for 2 weeks." Jonathan Hartley sounded both relieved and stressed. "Your uncle Theodore passed away 6 weeks ago in Switzerland. You're named as the primary beneficiary of his estate." I don't understand. I barely knew him. Nevertheless, he left very specific instructions. "Mr. Webb, your uncle was an extremely wealthy man. He owned numerous properties, investments, and corporate holdings." "How much are we talking about?" There was a pause. "The liquid assets alone are approximately $47 million. But that's not the significant part." My hands started shaking. "What's the significant part?" "Your uncle owns 62% of a company called Meridian Holdings Group. It's an investment firm. Are you familiar with it?" I wasn't. No, should I be? Meridian Holdings owns controlling shares in several companies. One of them is, let me check my notes, Apex Solutions Corporation. My blood went cold. "What did you say?" "Apex Solutions Corporation. Technology and consulting firm based in." "I know what it is," I interrupted. I just got fired from there 4 hours ago. There was a long silence on the other end. Mr. Webb, the lawyer finally said, as of your uncle's death and the estate transfer, you own 62% of the holding company that owns 78% of Apex Solutions. Which means, effectively, you own Apex Solutions. You're not just a shareholder. You're the majority owner. You're their boss. I sat down hard on my couch. They don't know, do they? The ownership is structured through multiple corporate layers for tax purposes. No, I doubt anyone at the operational level knows the actual ownership structure. Even most of the board probably doesn't know about the transfer yet. When does this become official? The paperwork was filed yesterday. Legally, you became the owner as of Thursday at 5 p.m. But we need to have a formal board meeting to announce the ownership transfer. I can arrange that for Monday morning if you're available. I thought about Craig taking credit for my work, about Jennifer's cold smile, about being escorted out by security, about 3 years of my life dismissed with 2 weeks severance. Make it 9 a.m. Monday, I said. And don't tell anyone who called the meeting. Just say it's mandatory for all senior leadership. Are you sure you want to? 9 a.m. Monday, Mr. Hartley. I'll see you there. Saturday, the preparation. I didn't sleep much Friday night. I kept thinking it was a dream, that I'd wake up and still be just Marcus Webb, unemployed and broke. But Saturday morning, I met with Jonathan Hartley in person. His office was in one of those buildings where even the elevator smells expensive. He walked me through everything, the paperwork, the corporate structure, the assets, the responsibilities. Your uncle was a very shrewd businessman, Jonathan explained. He built this empire quietly. Most people never knew how much he owned. He believed in staying behind the scenes. Why did he leave it to me? We barely knew each other. Jonathan pulled out a letter. He left this for you. I opened it with shaking hands. Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I watched you from afar your whole life. Your father and I didn't speak much, but I kept tabs on you. You remind me of myself at your age. Hardworking, honest, underestimated. I built this empire from nothing, and I don't trust it to people who were born into wealth. They don't appreciate it. You earned everything you have. Now I'm giving you the tools to build something greater. Don't let people walk over you. Your uncle, Theodore. I read it 3 times. There's one more thing, Jonathan said. I did some research on Apex Solutions after our call. Did you know the company's been underperforming for 2 years? Revenue is down, they're losing clients, and there have been numerous complaints about management. That doesn't surprise me. Craig Mitchell runs our division like his personal kingdom. He takes credit for everyone's work, drives good people away, and management loves him because he's good at presentations. Well, as of Monday, you're management. Actually, you're above management. You could fire the entire executive team if you wanted. Could I? The idea was intoxicating and terrifying at the same time. I spent the rest of Saturday doing research. I called Tom Chun, the IT guy who'd given me that look when I left. Tom, it's Marcus. You said to call. Dude, what happened Friday was messed up. Everyone knows Craig stole your work on the Carmichael account. Everyone knows. Marcus, you think people are stupid? We see what goes on. Craig's been taking credit for stuff for years. But he's connected. His uncle is on the board of directors. Nobody wants to say anything. His uncle is on the board? Yeah, Richard Mitchell. He's the one who got Craig hired in the first place. I made notes. Tom, I need a favor. Can you send me the organizational chart? Who reports to who? Who's on the board? Everything. Why? Just trust me. Can you do it? He paused. Give me an hour. Tom sent me everything. The org chart, email threads he'd recovered from archives, documentation of projects where Craig had systematically taken credit for other people's work. There were at least 7 instances in 2 years. I also found something interesting. Craig's uncle Richard Mitchell had pushed through several expensive contracts with companies he had personal investments in. Potential conflicts of interest. Maybe more than potential. Sunday, I met with Jonathan again. We prepared for Monday's board meeting. He coached me on corporate governance, on how to chair a meeting, on my legal rights as majority owner. Remember, Marcus, you don't have to prove yourself to these people. You own the company. They work for you. But I wanted to do more than just own it. I wanted to fix it. Monday, 8:45 a.m. I arrived at Apex Solutions at 8:30 a.m. The security guard, same one who'd escorted me out Friday, looked confused. Sir, you can't be here. You were terminated. I smiled. Check with the executive floor. There's a board meeting at 9 a.m. I'm expected. He made a call. His face went pale. I'm so sorry, Mr. Webb. They said to send you right up. Do you need? I know the way. I took the elevator to the top floor where I'd never been allowed before. The boardroom was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, a table that could seat 30 people, original art on the walls. Jonathan Hartley was already there, along with 3 other lawyers and a woman I recognized as the company's CFO, Patricia Holmes. She was one of the good ones, smart, fair, professional. Ms. Holmes, I said, extending my hand. I'm Marcus Webb. She looked puzzled. I know who you are, Mr. Webb. I heard about Friday. I'm sorry. I was out of the office, or I would have fought that decision. You were one of our best performers. But I'm confused why you're. She doesn't know? I asked Jonathan. He shook his head. I thought you should tell her. Tell me what? Patricia asked. At 8:55, the board members started filing in. Richard Mitchell, Craig's uncle, came in laughing with 2 other board members. Then came the CEO, David Thornton, a man I'd only seen in company-wide emails. Then Craig walked in. Then Jennifer. Craig saw me and stopped dead. What the hell is he doing here? Someone call security. Sit down, Mr. Mitchell, Jonathan Hartley said calmly. This meeting is now in session. I don't take orders from a lawyer I don't know, Richard Mitchell barked. Who called this meeting? I did, I said, standing up. My name is Marcus Webb, and as of Thursday at 5 p.m., I became the majority owner of this company through Meridian Holdings Group, which means I own 78% of Apex Solutions, which means I'm the chair of this board, which means all of you work for me now. You could have heard a pin drop. David Thornton, the CEO, was the first to speak. Jonathan, is this legitimate? Jonathan Hartley slid documents across the table. Completely. The transfer was filed and approved. Mr. Webb inherited the controlling stake from his late uncle, Theodore Webb. Everything is in order. Craig had gone white as a sheet. Jennifer was staring at me with her mouth open. Richard Mitchell was red-faced, furious. This is outrageous. You can't just walk in and... Actually, I can, I interrupted. And my first order of business is addressing some serious concerns about company management and performance. I pulled out my folder. Everything Tom had sent me. Everything I'd documented over 3 years. Let's start with you, Craig. Over the past 2 years, you've systematically taken credit for work done by subordinates. I have documentation of 7 major projects where you claimed sole responsibility despite doing minimal actual work. The most recent being the Carmichael account, which I personally developed for 6 months before you swooped in for the final presentation. That's a lie, Craig shouted. Is it? Because I have emails, project timelines, witness statements from team members, including the original pitch deck with my name on it, and the revision history showing exactly who did what work. I slid the documents toward the board members. They started reading. Furthermore, Craig, your performance reviews have been consistently inflated. You've given yourself ratings in the exceptional category while the division you manage has had 23% turnover in 2 years, the highest in the company. Patricia Holmes was nodding, looking at her own documents. That's correct. I've flagged this before. You flagged it? I asked. Multiple times. I was told it wasn't a priority. She looked at CEO David Thornton, who shifted uncomfortably. I turned to Richard Mitchell. And you, Mr. Mitchell. You've pushed through contracts with Branson Consulting and Tier 1 Solutions, companies you personally own stock in. That's a conflict of interest that should have been disclosed to the board. How dare you? I dare because I own this company, and you're supposed to be representing shareholder interests, not your personal investment portfolio. Those contracts cost this company $3 million and delivered subpar results. The other board members were looking at Richard Mitchell with new eyes. I turned to Jennifer. Ms. Reeves, you processed my termination on Friday. Can you tell the board what cause was given? She swallowed hard. Budget cuts. Position elimination. And yet I see here that the company posted a job opening for senior account manager, my exact position, on Saturday. Less than 24 hours after you eliminated my position. Can you explain that? Silence. Could it be because Craig wanted to hire his college roommate for the role? Someone more loyal than me. David Thornton stood up. Mr. Webb, I can assure you I knew nothing about this. If what you're saying is true, it's all documented, I said. And it's all true. I sat down at the head of the table. Here's what's going to happen. Effective immediately, Craig Mitchell, you're terminated. Your severance package will be 2 weeks' pay, the same you approved for me. Richard Mitchell, you're removed from the board. I'll be filing a formal complaint about your conflicts of interest with the SEC, and you can expect a full audit of those contracts. You can't do this, Richard shouted. I absolutely can. I own this company. I turned to Jennifer. Ms. Reeves, you're reassigned. You'll be working in our satellite office in Alaska, processing insurance claims. Same pay grade, just different location. You can start next Monday or resign. Your choice. Her face went ashen. I looked at David Thornton. Mr. Thornton, you and I need to have a long conversation about management oversight. But that can wait. For now, you're on notice. Things are changing. Then I turned to Patricia Holmes. Ms. Holmes, you're promoted to Chief Operating Officer, effective immediately. You tried to flag these problems and were ignored. That ends now. She looked shocked. Mr. Webb, I thank you. Don't thank me. You earned it. Now help me fix this company. I stood up. This meeting is adjourned. Craig, Jennifer, security will escort you to collect your personal items. Everyone else, we have work to do. The aftermath. Craig tried to argue. He threatened lawsuits. His uncle threatened to destroy me. Jennifer actually cried. But when security came, the same guard who'd escorted me out on Friday, there was nothing they could do. The law was on my side. The company was mine. As they were being walked out, I felt something unexpected. Not triumph. Not revenge. Just sadness. Sadness that it had come to this. That people who could have been good at their jobs chose instead to be petty, political, and cruel. Tom Chin appeared in the doorway as Craig was being escorted past him. Our eyes met. He gave me a small nod. After everyone left, Patricia Holmes sat down across from me. That was the most dramatic board meeting I've ever witnessed, she said. And I've been doing this for 20 years. I probably could have handled it better. No, she said firmly. You handled it exactly right. This company has been rotting from the inside because good people were afraid to stand up to bullies with connections. You just proved that merit matters. That documentation matters. That doing the right thing matters. I have a lot to learn about running a company. Then it's a good thing you just hired the best COO in the business, she smiled. We'll figure it out together. But Marcus, why didn't you tell them on Friday? When they fired you, you could have stopped it right then. I thought about that. Because I needed to see who they really were. If I'd told them I was the owner, they would have changed their behavior. They would have been fake. I needed to see them without the mask. And now I know exactly who's loyal to the company and who's just loyal to themselves. That's actually brilliant. Or stupid. I'm not sure which. 2 weeks later, I called an all-hands company meeting. 300 employees packed into the main auditorium. Most of them had no idea who I was or what had happened. I stood at the podium and told them the truth. My name is Marcus Webb. 2 weeks ago, I was fired from this company after 3 years of service. Last Monday, I became the majority owner. I know what you're thinking. This is going to be a revenge story. That I'm going to clean house and fire everyone who didn't stand up for me. I paused. But that's not who I am. And that's not what this company is going to be. Yes, I removed some people from leadership. But I didn't do it because they fired me. I did it because they were corrupt, they were dishonest, and they were hurting this company and all of you. I clicked to a presentation. Over the next 6 months, we're going to implement new policies. Merit-based promotions. Transparent performance reviews. Anonymous reporting for ethics violations. Profit sharing for everyone, not just executives. And we're going to build a culture where the best idea wins, regardless of who it comes from. I saw people starting to pay attention. I also want to address something specific. When I was fired, not one person in this company stood up for me. Except one. Tom Chin from IT. Can you stand up? Tom looked mortified but stood up. Tom, you've been here 5 years. You're brilliant at what you do. But you've been overlooked for promotion 4 times. What? He shrugged. I'm not good at office politics. Starting today, you're the new head of IT. 40% raise. You earned it. The room burst into applause. Tom looked like he might pass out. That's the kind of company we're going to be. Where talent is rewarded. Where hard work matters. Where you don't have to play politics to succeed. You just have to be good at your job and treat people with respect. After the meeting, dozens of people came up to me. People I'd worked with who apologized for not saying something on Friday. People with ideas for improving the company. People who, for the first time in years, felt like they had a voice. And Sarah from accounting. The one who'd smirked when I was fired. She waited until everyone else was gone. Mr. Webb, I owe you an apology. I was cruel on Friday. I thought. I thought Craig was untouchable. I thought people like him always won. People like him do win, I said. Until they don't. The question is, what kind of person are you going to be now? She nodded. Better. I promise I'll be better. 6 months later, Apex Solutions had its best quarter in 3 years. Revenue was up 32%. Employee satisfaction scores doubled. We landed 4 major new clients. Patricia Holmes and I made a good team. She handled operations while I focused on culture and long-term strategy. Turned out my Uncle Theodore had left me more than just money and a company. He'd left me a purpose. I was in my new office, much nicer than the cubicle I'd had before, when Tom knocked on the door. Got a minute? For the guy who saved my ass with all that documentation? Always. He sat down. I wanted to ask you something. Why'd you really do it? The whole wait until Monday thing. You could have just told them on Friday and avoided the humiliation. I leaned back in my chair. You know what the worst part of being fired was? Not the job loss. Not the money. It was watching people I thought were colleagues just watch. Nobody said this is wrong. Nobody stood up. I felt completely alone. And now I know who people really are. The ones who reach out after you fall. Those are your real friends. The ones who kick you while you're down. They show you who they always were. So it was a test. No, I said. It was a lesson. For them and for me. They learned that actions have consequences. And I learned that real power isn't about getting revenge. It's about building something better. Tom smiled. Your uncle would be proud. I hope so. He got up to leave, then turned back. By the way, Craig tried to get a job at Quantum Tech. I may have made sure they saw his real performance record. Tom, what? You said merit matters. I was just sharing information. I tried to look stern but couldn't help smiling. Get back to work. Sometimes I think about that Friday. About walking out of the building with my cardboard box, thinking my career was over. About sitting in my apartment, feeling like a failure. If someone had told me that 72 hours later I'd own the company, I wouldn't have believed them. But here's what I learned. Life will knock you down. People will betray you. You'll face moments where everything seems hopeless. But sometimes, not always, but sometimes, the universe has a plan you can't see yet. My Uncle Theodore taught me that without saying a word. He watched me struggle, watched me work hard, watched me get knocked down, and he waited to see if I'd stay down. I didn't. And when I got back up, he made sure I had the tools to build something better. They fired me on Friday. By Monday, I was their boss. But more importantly, by Monday, I knew exactly what kind of leader I wanted to be. Not the kind who rules through fear or connections or politics. The kind who believes that doing good work and treating people right actually matters. The kind my Uncle Theodore knew I could be all along. My name is Marcus Webb. I own Apex Solutions. And this is just the beginning. Thanks for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe my channel.